We're live.
Okay, live.
And we're live! Hey everybody, and welcome to our online viewers to the 2016 Chapter 1 Young Writers Conference Ask Anything panel with all of our lovely speakers this year. So we're currently in the Chicago suburbs for the panel with all of our amazing attendees here. So for the next hour, we're going to be taking questions from everyone in the room and then also all you guys online. So if you want to ask questions, you can do that by tweeting at us using hashtag Ch1Con. It is written on the board back there, but it's probably showing up backwards to you, so
Ch1Con.
All right, so to start, do the speakers want to introduce themselves?
No. Sorry, I just ate lunch. I get loopy after. Hi, I'm Susan Dennard. I am the author of the Something Strange and Deadly series. I don't know if I'm supposed to look at the camera or the people.
Either one.
Okay, I'm just going to kind of jump back and forth, guys. And I also wrote Truthwitch, which is the first in the Witchland series. Yeah, that's me. Pass the mic.
Hi guys, I'm Jennifer Yu. My debut novel, 4 Weeks, 5 People, is coming out next May.
Woo!
I'm Francesca Zappia. My debut novel, Made You Up, came out last May.
Woo!
So.
And I'm Jordan Villegas. I'm represented by OTPs, Fuse Literary. I don't have a debut coming out,
but you will.
Soon.
But you will.
Yeah.
Yay!
Okay, so do we have any questions anyone wants to start with for our panelists? Literally anything goes. Allison.
What is your least favorite part of the writing process, and how do you get through it?
Are we going in order or just jumping out?
It's up to you.
Let's just jump out. Let's just jump out.
All right.
Well, then nobody.
I'll start. I heard a lot of people today say that they love revising, and this was shocking to me because I hate revising. How do I get through it? The problem for me with revising is that usually by that point of the writing process, I have reached a point where I'm so sick of reading my own work that I just never want to look at it again. So I think, honestly, the best thing to do is just, everyone will say this, but just put it away for a couple of months. And at some point I realized it was just something that I was going to have to fight through. So I don't have like a really feel-good answer, but I just kind of push through it, and I'm like, revising will make your story better, and maybe when you're done you will hate it less. That was not a short answer at all.
Well, so I'm curious though, if you haven't revised it, how are you sick of reading it? Or do you revise as you go?
Yeah, I definitely every time I finish a scene, I read from the beginning. Also, when I get writer's block on a certain scene, I'll read from the beginning and then the next. So yeah, usually I've probably read every scene 3 times, piece by piece, as I write.
I find this fascinating because I cannot do that, and I think that's really cool. Further evidence, there is no one way to write a book. I would go crazy because I would have to fix everything, and I force myself to finish a draft before I'm allowed to read anything.
I think my least favorite would also be the writing.
Okay, you guys should write the book and I'll revise it.
Yeah, we're trying to give it to
I
you.
hate writing, so there we go.
Yeah.
No, because my favorite part is drafting and writing out the scenes for the first time, and then when I have to go back, it's especially bad when I have an edit letter, and sometimes the edit letter notes will be it'll be a whole scene is highlighted. It's make this funnier.
Yeah, it's no.
I'm just gonna have a stroke. So that's revising can be the least.
I've gotten comments too where it's highlight comment is make better. If I could, I would have done it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess my least favorite part is whatever I'm currently doing, I want to be doing whatever I'm not doing. So if I'm drafting, revisions are the best thing ever. If I'm revising, I just want to start something and forget everything I've written before.
Very nice.
What Hogwarts houses are you guys on?
I'm a Gryffindor.
Me too.
Yay! So I always thought I was a Ravenclaw. I identified myself as a Ravenclaw, and I have all Ravenclaw swag at home and gear. And then I took the Pottermore test last year, and I got Gryffindor, and it made me question my identity. And I was very confused because I've never thought of myself as a Gryffindor. Oh my gosh, we're the same.
Exact same.
Okay. But then everyone I told that I was a Gryffindor, they were like, yeah, of course you are. So I guess I don't know. I like to think that maybe I like grew into Gryffindor. So we'll go with Gryffindor. That was a lot more than you wanted to know.
I also got sorted into Gryffindor by Pottermore, and I was also like, that doesn't work for me. So I self-identify as a
I love it.
I love people who get sorted into different houses and still self-identify as Hufflepuff because like there's such like loyalty to Hufflepuff, and I love it. I am a Slytherin.
Nice.
Through and through. Like every test I've ever taken, it's like you're 100% Slytherin. Congratulations. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm incredibly Ravenclaw.
You got a nice assortment up here. You got all four. Oh, I guess I'm not picking who gets the question. I'm sorry.
Sort of a similar question. What Myers-Briggs personalities do you guys have if you have tested?
I already answered earlier. I'm an INTJ.
I haven't and refuse to. So.
It's funny because I actually just had to take the Myers-Briggs for work, and we spent a lot of time talking about it. So I can say with full certainty that I am an INFJ.
I think I'm an INFP. Is that what the end? The other than J? Then yes, I'm an INFP. Are you too? Yay. We can be friends.
No one else. We can be
That's the only way I know. Everyone else, you're out. Yeah. I don't remember what any of those letters mean, but I do remember taking it and being like, yes, that does sound like it. Someone else.
Should I ask the question? Do you want to ask the question, Emma?
I'm going to ask the
I'm going
question.
to ask the question.
If you could be an item on the Panera Bread menu, what item would you be?
I don't even know what's on that menu.
I don't know what's on the menu either. I don't eat a Panera.
I think I'd just be a cookie. Doesn't particularly matter which kind of cookie, but I'll go with cookie. Who came up with that question?
It is the best every single year.
That is hilarious, by the way. Okay, so we shall continue.
Yeah, and usually it's answers like it's either like they know exactly right away or no, they've never been to
It's
Panera
either people
before.
like know exactly what item they'd be there, or they'd be like, I don't really like Panera.
Exactly, right?
That's one or the other.
So you
If you are married or if you aren't, either way, would you trust the person you're married to read your like unadulterated, just like word vomit drafts?
No. I don't trust anyone to read that stuff. Literally, I won't show anyone, ever. Sorry, I have like massive fear of my own writing and showing it to anyone, so no, I can't even imagine that. I'm getting sweaty. But you guys are probably healthier human than I am.
I'm the exact opposite. I'll send like a complete stranger my word vomit and then apologize later, but I mean,
Good. You have a better, healthier level of fear.
I would trust them to read it, but I don't know that I would bother giving it to them unless they were like if I just wanted like unconditional, like I love this, then I'd give it to them because that's what they would do. Like they would know that that's all I want them to say. If he was like a writer of some kind or somebody who worked with stories, then I might give him to him to say like, hey, what do you think of this? Or like I might just explain parts of the plot. That's what I do with my roommates. I just walk out and I'm like, hey, what do you think about this? And they're like, that's really weird. I'm like, what do you think? Answer now. And they're like, so that's probably what I would do. I don't know that I'd give them the whole draft.
I'm most similar to Jordan in that if you are friends with me, then you're basically roped into reading like 10 pages of my writing every like 2 weeks. It's not quite as far as having to sign a contract, but like pretty much. And I think actually when I finished my first novel, that was the worst period of time for all my friends because every 2 weeks they had to read like sometimes the same 40 pages that they read the week before, but with like 3 different words. So sorry guys if you're watching.
She loves you.
Another question back there. What is your OTP?
Zuko and Katara forever.
I was afraid of this question. I guess I have to go. In terms of the fan fiction that I've consumed the most and that I feel most ardently about, it would probably be Lily and James. And it's such a cliche answer, but that's what it is. I know.
I'm trying to think of something, because I know there have been so many things where I ship them so hard, but I can't think of a specific one right now. I can, though, think of my favorite book boyfriend, who is, if anybody's ever read The Hero and the Crown by Robin McKinley, it's Luth.
Wow. Say anything. Nice throwback, by the way. I haven't thought of that book in forever.
That's my favorite book.
Really?
But, yes. Cool. Luth and Aaron. I'll say them for my OTP.
Yeah, I exist in a boring fanless world, so I have no answer.
No answer. None.
No.
All right.
You're missing out on like the agony of that thing. It's so hard.
I don't have enough personality.
I know.
Right.
Who or what is your spirit animal?
A panda, right? No, not really though. I do like pandas. Mine is always weird, so go.
Mine is my pinned tweet on Twitter, Martha Stewart's prison poncho. Always be my Patronus.
Oh gosh. Why?
Because it's Martha Stewart's prison
I
poncho.
need to look it up. I don't know what it looks like, so I have to look it up.
Yeah, you have
Awesome.
to.
And then I'll understand. Okay.
I don't know. Mine is like that cat that sits on the arm of the couch and just stares at you. Like, why are you in the same room as me? Please. I think that's mine, probably.
Yeah, I feel like for me there's a discrepancy between the spirit animal that I would like to be able to say is me and what it actually is.
Yeah.
Like I'd love to be able to say like dolphins, you know, they're intelligent and graceful, but actually like probably a sloth.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, I would love to be something majestic, like a unicorn or a dragon. But one of my friends was like, I think you're more like an octopus because your arms are really long. Okay, thanks. Great friend. But now that's kind of what I've stuck with, because I'm like, hey, I'm a marine biologist, and let me tell you, octopus is cool. So I'll go with it. They're smart. They can open jars.
Do you guys listen to music while you write? And if you do, like, what songs do you listen to, or what type of music?
I like to listen to non-lyrical music. Yeah. But I mostly listen to like epic movies, soundtracks, video game soundtracks, 2 Steps from Hell, which is like super epic music and really awesome. And that's pretty much what I listen to. So yeah, if you guys are on Spotify, you can find me. I have playlists and they're like 400 songs each and growing, because whenever I hear a song and I'm like, yes, that evokes the feeling I'm going for, I just add it and constantly play it on shuffle. So
I also listen to non-instrumental music when I write, or I listen to like weepy, sad guitar music, but mostly instrumental music. There's a genre of music called post-rock. I don't know if anyone else is familiar with it. It's like Explosions in the Sky is the most famous one. This Will Destroy You. They're really, really good. I also have a Spotify, but my Spotify account is private because I don't want to be made fun of when people see my playlist of just like a playlist of.
That's why I make secret playlists.
Yeah.
That's why I make secret playlists, like my K-pop and then my public one.
Yeah, so no one can find me. Sorry.
It's too bad.
I also have a Spotify. It's not private. And I love this question because I constantly listen to music while I'm like writing and brainstorming and stuff. So I have a playlist for like every book or like every series that I'm working on. And each one like has a different like genre of music on it, kind of, because it's all about like what atmosphere is in that story and what the characters are like. And so like for Made You Up, it's a lot of like poppy music and like happy stuff and like German music and things like that. And then like another one of my stories is a lot of like rock music and like more southern stuff. So like it has like House of the Rising Sun and things like that on there, even though they were English. It's fine. But yeah, so it goes book by book. Like I have to have music for it because it helps me figure out so many parts of the story.
Yeah, so either absolute silence or I like turn on the TV and just have like garbage infomercials played. Anything to like fill the room with sound that I don't have to hear or pay any attention to. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I
And cool.
write like really lyrically, so I have to have my own like cadence and beats in my head, so I can't be distracted by music.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm staring because I find this fascinating.
Okay, our next question comes from Twitter. At Hero Fighting on Twitter asks, what are your favorite Disney movies?
My favorite is not Disney, it's Anastasia from 20th Century Fox. It's amazing if you haven't seen it. I could sing it for you. But for real, it's just like the greatest. And yeah, Dimitri is super hot for a cartoon. Just throwing that out there. That's it.
I have to be honest, I haven't seen most Disney movies. I don't know why. I think I just skipped that part of childhood, or maybe my parents, they didn't want me to watch them. I don't know, but I haven't seen like The Little Mermaid or like Aladdin or like any of those. But I'll name a Pixar movie because I have seen most of the Pixar movies, and I think Pixar is owned by Disney. But I really liked Inside Out. So.
Good choice.
My favorite Disney movie is Atlantis: The Lost Empire.
That is so obscure. What?
It's the best. I was just watched it like a month ago.
It's so good. It's pioneered so many things in animation. Like it makes me so happy. I'm pretty sure at least like somebody saw. Like I have my friend got me a Milo figurine for my birthday. I don't know. She got it in a pawn shop in like Tennessee, and she got it for me. And I was like, this is the best present I've ever gotten in my life. And I had it sitting on my desk, and somebody saw it, and they're like, "You based Miles off of him, didn't you?" And like I realized that they have the same like I mean Milo and Miles obviously, which is not intentional. And then they both have the middle name James, and I was like, "Oops." Well.
Like Lilo and Stitch.
Yes.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah.
I cry every time. Not
You go into that movie knowing that it's going to be like,
oh.
What's your favorite character to read, and is it the same kind of character that's your favorite to write?
Probably. I really like trickster characters who don't know what they're doing behind the scenes. Have any of you guys ever read The Thief or Queen of Tullia?
yes.
Those are some of the most brilliant books of all time. Highly recommend Megan Whalen Turner's The Thief. But Eugenides, the main character, is the ultimate trickster. And even reading it multiple times, every time I'm like, how did he do that? So it's very good.
Someone else go because I'm still thinking.
So I think it's the same. I think they're the same character. But I don't know because if he's written wrong, I don't, or it can be female too. I don't. It makes me angry. So then I like hate him. It's the like, so using like TV tropes words. It's the lightning bruiser character. So it's the character who like hits really fast and really hard, and he's really good at what he does. So like this comes up more in like anime than in YA books. And I'm trying to put more in YA books because I want to see it. But like, I guess you could call Snape is technically a lightning bruiser, but you don't see him like fight anybody that often. But like, if anybody's seen like Bleach, the anime, Urahara is a lightning bruiser. That's like my favorite kind of thing. So, and they're always like mysterious characters too. You don't know much about them, but you know they're like awesome.
I guess I like fluffy, like happy characters, but everything that I write is like serious, introverted people who do nothing but sit around and think about how sad and tragic an existential crisis after another. Yeah.
Just broadly, I would say that I definitely read like reading the same type of character that I write, which is just smart teenagers. I have no other characteristic needs other than I'd like them to be smart and well-spoken.
Can I also throw another one in? I'm sorry. I thought of Zuko, and Zuko is like the ultimate redemption character. I love redemption characters. I have a really soft spot for that. But it can also be done badly.
Yeah.
And be done badly, but Zuko is.
Okay, we have another question from Twitter. This is from one of our team members who couldn't make it to the conference, named Kira. And she asks, how do you personally overcome writer's doubt?
Doubt? I want to get paid. I'm serious. There's like no magic bullet for that. You just kind of have to put your butt in the chair and do it. I have endless crippling doubts. If you guys saw the number of panic attacks that I've had for my latest book, you would be like, I don't want to be a writer anymore. That looks awful. So yeah, but I still have a book to write, and so I will get my butt up every morning and get at a standing desk and go stand at that desk. So yeah, I don't know if you guys have better advice.
That's why I email my friends every 2 weeks and make them read my stuff. Is because it's otherwise I'm just sort of stuck in the rut of I don't know if it's good, I don't know if it's good enough to keep writing. So for me, this is probably not that healthy, but for me it really all comes down to I need someone else to be like, this is at least still okay, so you have no excuse not to keep going. So I don't know if that counts as overcoming, but it's,
You need a cheerleader in your court, which is good, yeah.
So the way I used to do it was I would just stop writing for a little bit and come back to it later. But now, and this only works for me because I have something that I wrote that I really love. I have a book that I wrote that if what I'm working on, if I'm like, this is just horrible, like I can't write, why am I doing this? I'll go and open up that book and read parts of it. And I'm like, oh yeah, like I love this so much. Like I love these characters. I'm like, I know I can do this again. So then after I do that for a little bit and take a break from the old story, and then usually after a little bit of recuperation, I can get back into it.
I tend to be very callous about my own writing, so I have like zero expectations for it to be any good at all when I start. So I live in a perpetual state of writer's doubt. So it's just like, oh, it's gonna naturally suck. Who cares? I'll fix it later. It's just kind of.
What are some of your favorite writing resources, like podcasts, books, writing exercises, that sort of thing?
I don't, well, okay. My favorite book on writing is Stephen King's On Writing.
Same.
I think that's one of the few writing books where I was like, yes, King gets it. Which with as many books as he's written, he better get it. That's really that's the one that I always remember. But yeah, I guess I don't have that much stuff that I actually go and look at, because I've never really been into writing exercises. Just because if I'm writing something, I just want it to be about what I'm writing. I just want to write this story. That's all I'm interested in. So yeah, I guess it's kind of nice little limited.
Yeah, I just read my own writing, which sounds horrible, but yeah, if I've done something successful in the past, I can go look back at what I've done before and be like, how did I do that, and deconstruct it and try to reconstruct it in a different way.
It's also On Writing by Stephen King. So.
I'm about to work on a lot of you. All right, I have an addiction to writing advice, so I will read every book written on writing, because I'm like, maybe this person will have the magic bullet and I won't hate myself so much. Not happened yet, but I read everything. My favorite writing instructor, her courses are online. They're not cheap, but they taught me everything I know. It was the best money I ever spent. It's by Holly Lyle, Holly, and her last name Lyle, Lisle. Her workshop called How to Revise Your Novel. Literally took me from I'm just learning to write, living in rural Germany with no friends, to published author. Period. Highly recommended. And then lately, the most recent one that I really loved was a book called Anatomy of Story by John Truby. And I'm kind of obsessed with it to the point where I keep it with me everywhere, and it's all dog-eared and highlighted, and it's now falling apart. It's very structured, and I am not, normally I hate sticking to a structure, and the first time I opened that book up, I was like, I do not like this. He's going to control my storytelling, and I need to know. And then I ended up, one of my friends was like, no, you should read it. You should read it and try doing the exercises. It's really cool. And I did, and now I'm obsessed. So I'm preaching the word of Anatomy of Story. Try it. You have to do all the exercises, but it, again, will transform your book. If you're struggling, like I was really struggling with my sequel to Truthwitch, and this book literally helped me figure out why, which I needed. What else do I like? Have you read Big Magic? Highly recommend Big Magic. Lila's Gilbert, who wrote Eat, Pray, Love. That is a very inspirational book. Little woo-woo at times, but that's okay. Because she talks about like the muse as if it's a real thing because she believes it's a real thing. But that's cool. I'm cool with that. I can get on board. What else? Just go to my website because I feel like I have 8 billion things listed on there. Because I love writing advice to the point where it's an addiction and a procrastination tool. Yay. Okay, sorry, I just dominated that.
You have way more stuff than me.
I know, I was like, I should be writing this down.
Like,
Yeah.
Okay, we have another Twitter question, which is, why did you choose to write in the genre that you write in?
Who's first? Someone else speak first.
Well, I don't have like a specific genre I stick to. It's my but it's just whatever I feel like at the moment. I have no good answer for that. I'll just get myself out of the way.
No, that's good though. It is. It's whatever you're feeling.
yeah. I write sci-fi and fantasy because those are the books I grew up reading. So those are the stories that I love the most, and I love like all the things you can do in them, and I love world building, all that. I write horror because I love horror stories. The Grudge is like the Japanese version of The Grudge. It's like my favorite movies of all time. And I love scaring people in general. I almost scared my roommate down the stairs one time.
So if I wake up one night and you're outside my window, I'll know it's just a joke.
It'll be out of love. And then I wrote contemporary. The only reason I write contemporary books now is because when I was like 10, I was like, I want to write a story set in the real world. And then that was where the like very first idea for Made You Up came about. So I don't normally write contemporary, but I do have like more ideas for it now.
Yeah, I write contemporary because it's what I like to read. It's what I grew up reading, so it's what I feel I know the best. And also, when I read as a kid, I wanted to read something that was escapist in some way. Like it made me feel like I could be living in a different life, but also realistic enough so that it wasn't completely, outlandish. So it's close enough to reality that I could put myself there. And so I think that's the appeal of contemporary. It's like real, just a little bit better.
Hopefully,
maybe not. Yeah.
I guess I too write whatever I'm feeling, but I will say, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of also write to what's the market. You have to like be smart once you're a published author and write what will sell, because again, I would like to eat dinner. So it's like I like to write whatever I feel like writing now, but I also understand that maybe that's not an sellable genre. So I may have to set it aside. I have a few pocketed books right now, they're waiting. I'll pull them out later for when that market is hot again. I got really lucky that fantasy was cool because Truthwitch, I was like, I love this book, can we sell it? And they're like, I don't know, fantasy maybe. Oh wait, here comes a big book, boom, we can sell it, yay. So thank you, YA readers. That's one thing about being a published author is you can't always necessarily just write what you want to write. But then I like your idea of having a little project that you like look at or maybe even dabble with as like I don't suck. You may have to do that.
I have like 6 of those. And like every time I bring up a new idea to my agent, she's like, yes, write that down, do that. I'm like, Louise, I have like 7 of these right now.
I've already done it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sort of came up with something, so I can actually say something to that actually. Substance. Well, I usually write stuff that kind of bleeds from realism to not magical realism technically, because it's like all the Latin American stuff with that. But I have a really hard time imagining like human perception is, we don't see the world like as it really is. Like all this weird, like read a lot of neurology stuff like that. Like how we see the world is based on how our brains are wired. So I like to write stuff that's really heavy in science, but at the same time like unrealistic. I don't know, just my way of seeing the world is vomited onto the page.
I like it.
What does your writing routine look like?
Mine's embarrassing.
Incredible guilt that I have, and then sitting down and forcing myself to finish something.
Yeah, mine. Well, so I have a full-time job right now, and before that I was in school, and like I would love to be a full-time writer and just like wake up in the morning, sit down at my desk, write some words, have some tea, like whatever. I don't even drink tea, but like every time I've had free time, I don't write anything. And so the only time I write things is when I'm doing something else like school or work that I don't want to be doing. I hope nobody I work with is watching this right now. Because then like to procrastinate doing that, I write because that's what I want to be doing. Like, I'd much rather be writing right now. So like I wrote most of like all the books I have right now, I wrote while I was in class in school and I didn't want to pay attention.
I'm actually the exact same way, which makes me feel like writers are just set up to fail. In that, like, so my senior year of college, my second semester, I was like, okay, like, this is it. The last semester before you have a full-time job, you need to set all your time aside for writing. I took 2 classes. I was in like 5 hours of class a week, and I thought I would spend all the rest of my time writing, and I wrote like nothing. I like to not write anything. I had a great social life, but I do not write anything. So I'm definitely the same way where I actually work better if I'm busier, and it makes me really value writing that much more, and then that's kind of how I can get myself to do it.
Yeah, I write full time, and I miss the days of working and writing. I will say there's something about that because you value it differently. But I'm a really slow writer. I'm so much slower than most people, and YA demands a booking year schedule, which for me is very, very hard to meet. Other people are fast, and I'm not. And so I do get up in the morning. I don't drink tea. Yeah. But I do. I get up very early, and it's one of the first things I do. But I started this habit this year of every morning I free write for 45 minutes about anything. Usually I try to write just like a little flash fiction, and normally I would hate, like I've never done that before because in my head writing and creativity are a limited resource and they should be used only for my book. And it's wasting my creativity if I don't. And then I read a book on myelin, I like neuroscience too, and on how the brain actually works. And so I learned that actually the more you write in any way, the more creativity you have. So it's not actually a resource that can be tapped dry, it's a resource that you can grow. And so now I free write for 45 minutes every morning. I just like pick a random subject and go. And so that's how I start my day. And then I write or try to write the rest of the day. And it's like, I'm not gonna lie, I like don't shower often. I like never put on a bra. And yeah, it's not particularly glamorous. Like, it's just so embarrassing, but seriously, my husband like knows my shower schedule, and he'll be like, oh great, today was a shower day. I'm like, yep, but I just like can't spare the time to deal with that. And so yeah, I'm very slow, so I spend like all day. It takes, I'm so jealous of people who can write. Like, I wrote 10,000 words today because I am lucky if I can get 2,000, and that's me like focusing all day long. And yeah, I used to like really hate that I was so slow, and then I finally came to terms with that this year. That's just the way it is for me. So I don't know if you guys are fast or if you're slow, but it doesn't matter.
I tend to actually cycle between 2 different things. Like, either I'll be like, all right, 3,000 words in 1 hour between 2 classes or something crazy like that, or I'll spend all day and forget to eat, or even like stand up and write like 1,000 words in a single day. And I'm just like, just get that one feeling.
Yeah.
And you're talking about like writing early in the morning. Like, I've noticed that I'm most productive and like my brain is like most willing to write either like very late at night right before I go to bed, which is horrible because I'll be laying there in bed like writing, and then it's just like eyes shut, like dead asleep. Or like I wake up very early in the morning and I'll count out like 2,000 words in like an hour,
Morning is the magic time for me.
Yeah.
I like my mornings are very sacred because it is when I produce the most. And so I like definitely don't do anything then. And then, I mean, as you guys know, when you're an author, you have to deal with a lot of things that aren't writing. You have to do all the online stuff, and you have to deal with your email, and you have to promote yourself and travel, and that takes up a huge amount of time, and it's a very, very different part of your brain. And so I have a very hard time shifting between the two. And so I would make like morning my writing time, and then the afternoon is for all the self-promotion and managing my street team and all of that kind of stuff. But then I finally this year got to be too much, so got myself an assistant. Thank you. And which helps a lot, but I mean it takes a while to even get to that point. So yeah, if you guys like want to get into writing though, authors are always looking for assistants. Just a FYI for jobs, guys.
Yeah, I'll take one.
Yeah. You know, and or like offering yourself, even if it's like a free internship kind of situation. Like, hey, can I handle your email and do all this, and in exchange for that, you'll kind of tell me about being an author, and we'll, you know, do like a mentorship kind of thing. I know a lot of authors who are willing to do that sort of stuff. So don't be afraid to email and ask.
Okay, our next question comes from Twitter from Girl in Hiding again. And she asks, do you imagine a specific and or perfect audience that you're writing for? Who do you want to impact the most?
I'm a selfish monster and I write for myself each and every time.
Yeah, that's kind of me too. Because like every book I write is like, I get kind of mad at it because it's like, this is the book I want to read. And I'm mad because I have to write it first. It's like, I don't want to know what happens. I just want to be able to read it. So I do write a lot for myself. And if I can make myself happy, then I'm like, all right. Like, if I think this book was well put together, then I'm pretty happy.
Same. I mean, maybe you guys just got an exceptionally selfish panel, but I think a lot of writers write for themselves because they're trying to evoke the feeling that they get when they read something that they really love, and they want to be able to do that. But your reference point is yourself, right? So you're trying to give yourself that feeling that you remember getting from other books.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just trying to put my word, articulate what I want to say. I mean, I know when I first wrote my first book to get it published, I was thinking of 14-year-old me as my target audience. What would I have liked at that age? I didn't even know that like YA was a thing, so that worked out. But I don't know. I don't actually think, I mean, I hate writing, so I'm not writing for me. I hate writing. I love revising, and revising is all about the reader. So I'm that weird one who I guess is, maybe if I could make it more fun, but I hate myself so much that I'm just like, this is terrible. Why did you think you could write a book? So yeah, but I guess like you said, your reference point is you. So I want to evoke a feeling in the reader, and that's what I'm shooting for, and it's what I feel. So I don't know. This is a very complicated thought process in my head. Yes. Sorry, hero in hiding.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried self-publishing, and if so, would you recommend it over like being like published by a company?
I think it depends entirely on your goals. If you're going to self-publish, you have to understand that you're not going to be in bookstores, and that your reach will be very different, who you can actually sell your book to. It doesn't mean you can't be successful. I have some really wonderful friends who are very successful in self-publishing, but it's a full-time job in and of itself just to self-publish, because you are now acting as what an entire publisher would do for me or our books. You're now doing for yourself. You have to design the cover, you have to find editors, and there are multiple kinds of editors. So you have to find your content editor, your line editor, your copy editor. You have to find someone to set the book, typeset it for you. You have to find someone to format it and turn it into a readable form. And then you actually still have to print it and or produce it. And so it's a huge amount of work, which is not a bad thing. Some people really like having all that control. It just depends on what you want. So, yeah, I don't know if you guys have a better answer, but.
About the same. I have a lot of friends who self-publish, and some of them are very successful.
Exactly, yeah.
But yeah, it is, they do like having that control, and they went into it knowing that they would have to put all that work into it.
Exactly.
Especially like the marketing and stuff, which is just.
It's very hard to get people to buy your book.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost impossible. And so at least when you have a publisher behind, they have relationships in place. They have a relationship with Barnes & Noble, for example, and Barnes & Noble will say, for a fee, we'll put that book in our store, face it out, and your publisher will be like, okay, we'll pay that fee. And so then at least people see your book versus self-publishing. Like, it's very hard, not impossible, and you can make a killing in it if you can do it well, but it's just much harder to find and get to readers. Sorry, I totally jumped on that. I didn't mean to interrupt.
I was done. But no, I knew what that was.
So, in the 2nd grade, I wrote a story, and it was.
I love where this is going. By the way,
it was. I'm actually not gonna say what it's called in case.
Yes.
In the 7th grade, I wrote the story, and at the time I thought it was a book, but it was actually only like 50 pages. But it was in the 7th grade. It's possible that I self-published it, but it's also possible that I just got it like found and had a copy mailed to my house. I'm not really sure. I hope that I just got it found and mailed to my house. That's probably it. I really hope, because I should tell my agent if I have like a book flip. The serious answer to that is I don't have a lot of perspective on self-publishing or, versus regular or versus traditional publishing, because not only do I not have real experience self-publishing, but I'm not even all the way through to publication yet. But I will say, like, as a reader, I think as a reader and a writer, you're like, oh, like, all it is it's just a book, right? And it's a book, and there's pages, and you write the pages, and then you have a book. And sometimes I think it's easy to underestimate, like, how much outside of the actual book has to happen for that book to become a real thing in the real world.
I have nothing to add. Just move on.
Okay, we have another question from Twitter, and they're asking if you have pursued or are pursuing higher education, what degree did you study for and why?
I mean, I'm just going to throw out there that having a degree in creative writing or English is absolutely not required. In fact, I only know one author who does, and she hated the program and actually felt like she was more quashed than she was enhanced. So I have a master's degree in marine science and statistics, clearly very connected to writing. My best friends, one of them has a degree in history, the other one worked in web design for a long time. I don't know what are your backgrounds? I'm not saying there's nothing wrong, you don't have to, you can, but you don't have to.
I just graduated with my bachelor's, so that's undergrad this May.
Yay, thank you.
I studied creative writing, but our creative writing concentration was only 3 creative writing courses, so it wasn't like intense the way an MFA is. An MFA is like higher than getting your undergrad. It's like getting a master's in creative writing or whatever art you want to do. I'm probably not going to get an MFA. Which is not that it's bad, it's just I'm not good.
Yeah. My undergrad degree is in computer science and math, which
math, yay.
Math, it was all abstract math, and people are like, can you add these huge numbers? I'm like,
same.
No. But I did that because I was looking at the English program, and I was like, I know if I try to take creative writing, they're going to make me write stuff that I don't want to write. And they didn't have any genre fiction classes. They were like, in their creative writing courses, you couldn't write fantasy and sci-fi. You had to write like realistic fiction. It's like, see ya, I'm not going to do that. I am thinking about getting a master's in English though, because I work at a university, so I get free tuition. I was like, I should maybe jump on that. Yeah. And I don't want to get a degree. I don't want to get a master's in computer science or math because I hate math. So yeah, add these numbers. Get this. I mean, it's abstract math is literally just strings. It looks like a sentence in a foreign language. It's just like symbols. I
haven't gone to college, so I'm just sitting here thinking about like harpoons and chairs and random stuff. I don't know why. Yeah, marine.
Oh yes. No, we didn't
so-
use harpoons.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
But
I
I'm
like
going to
your
college
idea.
and I have no idea.
That's awesome.
Open into the future.
I feel really old right now. I'm like so much older than these guys. I just like I think if you want to study writing because you are very interested in it, I then absolutely do. I would like to get an MFA just because I love craft, as I have made clear, and so I feel like I would. And I love, now that I'm old, I love taking classes, and I appreciate it in a way that I didn't when I was younger. So I'm jealous of you in your situation. But I also, you don't need to. In fact, when you're in college and you're just finished, like you don't need to in order to sell a book at all. And it's expensive. So
yeah, I'd love to get a PhD in English and then just write all of my all of my body of work. I'd like to A, be called doctor, and B, I'd just like to write stuff about all of Stephen King's work. Just analyze his books.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna hop onto this one. So I just graduated with a creative writing degree, and it's like I enjoyed it in a lot of ways, but I also I naturally don't write realistic fiction, and we were limited to realistic fiction. It had to be like very literary, and like my professor kept being like, "Why are we writing about teenagers?" And I was like, "But this is I write YA."
Right.
So like it really, you have to like look into the program and be willing to like put up with what the program's gonna be at the university. Like I enjoy my program, but it also like I definitely wouldn't want to go back and do it again. Like I learned what I can learn from it, and then it's done, and I don't need that now.
Something I'm really thankful for is like now, especially, there is a lot of pushback against what I think used to be a pretty common conception in the literary world that like YA fiction wasn't like literary or like, real. And you know, now a lot of people are saying like, no, it is real, and like adults can read YA too, and like there's a lot of pushback against the idea that it's like not as quality or like not as good. But I think like in like that one of the reasons why I'd be wearing and getting an MFA is because I would kind of be afraid to like be in that sort of academic literary environment.
I feel like academics, like it's taking longer for it to spread in that direction for them to realize that like writing children's fiction is an actual like quality.
Or genre fiction in general.
Or genre fiction in general.
Very
Yeah, we
few
wouldn't
people
watch it.
actually read literary fiction. I mean,
Some of the most popular stuff we have is genre stories.
I like literary fiction, but I also read mostly still genre fiction, so I don't know quite what that is about, but
yeah. I also really like them saying that like when they say that children's fiction isn't like meaningful or not, or isn't worth it, and it's like that's not the most worth it. Like they're the future. They're literally like
the books you remember most, or I remember most, are the ones I read when I was like 13. So
yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So.
What shows do you guys watch on TV?
I think we've established my love for Avatar. What else have I lately been watching? I really like sci-fi shows like Firefly, Battlestar Galactica. You guys should definitely watch those. I mean, I mostly watch comedy, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know, you guys probably have better answers.
I don't really watch a lot of TV. I haven't since I was a kid. I think at some point I got busy, and TV was like the first thing I cut out because I just never got that emotionally attached. But I am really excited for the Gilmore Girls.
Yes.
So if anyone else is excited about that, I will put that out there. The Gilmore Girls reboot. That show is so well written. The characters are so good and so smart. So I'll sleep on the
The shows that I watch, like if they're on TV right now, is The Walking Dead and Gotham. Penguin. But I love Parks and Rec. I love Arrested Development.
Yes. Oh, sorry. My
Arrested Development.
assistant and I have a game going today for how many times we can quote it to slip it into conversation. So you can join our game.
Yes. Oh my God. And see, now that I'm going to try to think of quotes for it, I want people to think of anything.
Yeah, I know. That's
but
what
there's so many. I love Arrested Development. I love Stargate SG-1. Was like that was my sci-fi show. Like if you ask me Star Wars or Star Trek, I'm like Stargate, get out. And I will binge watch Degrassi like nobody's business. I unironically love that show. I'm so into it.
Yeah, I know discerning taste in television. So as I said, I will watch 5 hours of infomercials. I don't even care. I just need something to be happening so I don't feel like I'm in silence.
Okay. Kira on Twitter asks, what is a favorite YA book that you've read recently?
I read Liva Brain's The Diviners, which was really awesome. I like the 1920s, and I've written historical fiction, so I know how much research goes into that, and wow. I bet she spent many months researching to make the 1920s come to life, and it was amazing.
Recently, I finally read Me and Earl, Dying Girl. That's like, the movie adaptation came out last year, so it's really old, but I finally read it, and I thought it was very good. I also recently read a book called Codename Verity.
Yeah. It's my favorite book ever.
I think I tweeted about it. Okay, so yeah. But it was a while ago, but it's still stuck with me because it was so amazing, and everyone should read it, especially if you're interested in like strong female characters, female friendships. There's not even real romance in the book, which like I like romance, but it's nice to have like two friends who are just good friends, and the book is just about their friendship.
I can't remember the last one I read like really recently that I loved. So I'll just say the last one like blew my mind, which was I mean it must have been like a year ago, year or two ago maybe. It was Dreams of Gods and Monsters from the Daughter of Smoke and Bone series. And I read that book, and it was just like the whole time I felt like it was just like pulling my mind, like making it bigger. And like, when they say like stretch your horizons, I was like, that book is amazing. And it's so like, it made like, this is what's possible if you're a good writer. Like, the book was so good.
So I have a really, really bad with titles and names. Patrick Ness, he's the one that wrote those books I read recently. Yeah, I don't remember what they're called. But yeah, I like those. But I spent like the last year reading a lot of nonfiction and short stories and a bunch of other things. So.
I read a lot of nonfiction too. Let's discuss.
Well, what's your favorite nonfiction book you guys have read?
I recently read something called Sapiens, which is about the evolution. Oh, I liked your reaction. The evolution of humans, not just like scientifically, but socially, culturally, economically, from literally when we became humans to present day. And that sounds very boring, but it was riveting. It was so good. And the takeaway message is that humans ruin everything.
The Botany of Desire. I reread it like once a year at least because I just love it so much. Taking perspective of planets as evolutionarily affecting humans, and it's just really fascinating.
That sounds awesome. I have not read that, but I'm an evolution dork. So yay, Botany of Desire.
Yeah.
I just read a book, and I think it's called The Human Age. It just came out, but it's about how like humans have ushered in the Anthropocene. I don't know how to pronounce that word, but maybe you could.
No, well, I don't know pronunciation.
Okay. And so like the impact that we're having on like the natural world. I think
humans ruin everything.
On a less legitimate note, I love celebrity memoirs. So like Mindy Kaling's Is Everyone Hanging Out Without Me? Hilarious, very relatable. Is everyone hanging out without me? I don't know. I also just read, the reason why I bring it up is because I just read Aziz Ansari's Modern Romance. It was good. Like, I don't actually think he's like super hilarious all the time, but the book was really interesting.
Another book that recently came out is called housing crisis. I mean, it sounds like really boring, but it's super fascinating. It's like an ethnography of modern America, and it helps you like see the world in a way you don't usually see it. Yeah. And then there's I'm gonna stop after this one. There's one about a memoir about a prison librarian called Running the Books. It's an amazing book.
Running the Books?
Yeah, Running the Books.
Huh. I don't really read that much nonfiction ever, but I did read Quiet, which is about
introverts.
It's about being an introvert and an extrovert in a world that values extroversion. So, and I was actually like bookmarking, like putting the little tabs. I never do that when I read, but I was like, this is amazing. Like, so that was, I really enjoyed that book.
Okay, we have another question from Twitter asking, what social media platforms do you think are most important for writers?
I can't answer that because like when I first was getting into social media and trying to become an author, it was 2009, and everyone was on Twitter, but Instagram really didn't, or it wasn't a thing yet. There was no such thing as Snapchat. You have no idea what's going to come. And so I just tell people to do whatever they feel the most comfortable doing. Like, you don't have to do every social media because you'll spread yourself way too thin. I hate Facebook. So if you go onto my Facebook page, you will see that I've like not updated it in 4 years. And I don't use it. It exists, but I don't use it. I'm pretty good about Twitter. I do like Twitter. I try to interact with everybody. And I like Instagram personally because I don't know, I like taking pictures of my dog. But it's really like what you're comfortable with, because I get all the time people ask me, like, should I start a blog? And I'm like, you know what? Blogging isn't even a thing anymore, so no. It was great when I was starting out, but not anymore. So I do newsletters, but I have a feeling newsletters are probably going to tank soon, and so it's just, yeah.
Yeah, really, you guys should be answering that question for us.
Yeah.
Like,
where are you?
Yeah, what do you guys use?
I heard
Yeah.
Snapchat is a thing.
Yeah.
I never figured. I had it for like 5 minutes, and I was like, what is this? Threw it away. Really, it's like whatever you're most comfortable using, and like what you're best at using is going to be your best social media. So like I'm best at using Twitter, but like I've gotten into Instagram, so it's like, okay, I'm a little better now. But like Twitter is like my best thing. But I know other people who are like, YouTube is their thing.
Yeah.
Or yeah, like I can never do YouTube. I'd just be sitting in front of the camera.
I'm too lazy. I'm like, oh, I have to like shower for that.
Yeah.
What do you do? You're nice and young.
Yeah, I'm terrible at social media. I'm an anomaly. I don't do it.
You don't do any of it? That's
Well,
good
I
though.
do Twitter, but it's just me making jokes about myself.
And
So
conscious. And
yeah.
Okay, we can probably do 2 more questions. Do you guys want to do the last 2 questions?
Oh, we have the same one. We want to increase our chances. How do you guys feel about having your books turned into movies?
Look, no author's gonna say no. Okay. One, it'll make more money, and we would always like to continue eating, so we will gladly take money. And yeah, no one would say no. I would rather have mine made into a video game, but I realize that's not likely to happen. I have literally sat down and imagined my game as a Dragon Age style game. That is how crazy I am. But I think it can work. Tell your friends. But yeah, I mean, I have friends who've gone through the movie thing, and it can be really frustrating. They can ruin your book, completely transform it, change it, and you can't do anything about that. Once you sign that over, it's done. It's not yours anymore. And so, I don't know. I wouldn't say no to it, though. Take the money and run. What about you guys? You might have more insightful answers.
I just want book to be published. That's all I care
It'll
about
happen,
right now.
sir. It'll happen.
I mean, money, first of all. I like it anytime that somebody's like, what if it was turned into this? And I'm like, yes, I would love to see it in a different medium, because then I could experience it for the first time. But at the same time, it's like, I don't want them to ruin it. And like with Made You Up especially, it's like, if they ruined the characters, I would just be like volcanic with rage. Like and there'd be nothing you could do about it. Be like, well, I sold it to him, so.
I mean, see, I don't have that reaction. I mean, maybe I would, but I also maybe, like, the thing about publishing, little insider tip, you have literally no control over everything, and so you do start to learn to not care, because you can't do anything about it when your publisher's like, this is your cover, well, that's your cover. And so, I guess I've like reached that point where I'm like, whatever, just give me the money. And so you'll get there. You'll get there.
I think I'm okay with like the plot. Like if they wanted to change the plot, I'd be like, whatever. But if it was like, Miles is gonna have brown eyes, and I'm like, no. Like, nope. It is plot relevant.
And that's probably the first thing they would change. So
Right.
They will whitewash your characters, and then
Right. Like just every God, like, cause if they ever tried to do one of my books and whitewash it, I would.
So I would only adapt it if they let me write it.
really, would you? I'm serious. Like if they were like, we really want to make this movie, you would actually turn it down, because you couldn't write it. Wow, I would not. I would like, give me that money. I sound so greedy, but like I seriously, I have.
I think it's just like I've like written screenplays, and
Serious.
I worked in Hollywood, so I would like I would be like,
Yeah.
I can do this. And also they let writers write their own movie adaptations all the time. Like Emma Donoghue, who wrote the original Room, she wrote her own screenplay. It was magnificent.
Yeah, I love that.
So
It definitely.
I could be Emma Donoghue.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have one last question? Yeah.
Okay, don't judge me for this. Favorite and least favorite way to die.
Good. Favorite or like
What I think the best way to die would be, or how I would want to die.
I've actually considered this. I would not want to burn to death, and I would want to freeze to death. Opposites. Perfect.
Freezing to death would be nice.
This
Yes.
is a really stressful question for you to ask, like right before I get on a plane. So I'm gonna say least favorite plane crash, just so my plane doesn't crash tonight. Best friends in your sleep, old, surrounded by loved ones, right? Like you would say something different from that.
He did.
Clearly, I did. Freezing.
I guess I just jumped to extreme deaths
Yeah.
right away. I don't know. I heard once that a guy did this trick where he would like show his friends how he could put a cue ball down his throat and like do it in his throat and then push it back out.
No,
And it got.
Julia, can we have another question? I do one more question after this.
Cleanse everyone's palate.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. So I'm actually curious, since like seeing like, market aside, throw the market out the window. Like if you could write like one book that would sell well, what would it be? Like, would you like dream things? Sometimes people have things that are like, this won't sell right now, but like what is something that you would love to work on? Even if I book, like.
I work on a video game, period. I'm just a video game writer. So I've tried doing it on my own. Like I've dabbled in basic, it's called interactive fiction. It's essentially branching storylines like a video game would be. And it gets so complicated so fast because when you choose a branch in the story, it opens up new branches. And I like made it about 20 minutes of gameplay, and then I was like, this is so big. I can't contain this. I must stop. My brain is too small. And I see why game developers have so many writers. Because
I think, honestly, like I tried to think of something else and I couldn't, but I think that I would write the book that I'm writing now. Like I would still be writing contemporary and adult about teenagers.
and screenplays.
And well, that's kind of on the back burner right now. Deadline.
I would be writing. So it's the book I started when I was 8 years old, and it's still like I still read it. The Amity, the one with the orange and the thing above her, she's the main character from that book, and it's science fantasy, which is like my favorite genre. And it is I pitch it as Faust meets Final Fantasy. So like Final Fantasy type world with like Faustian bargains. and selling your soul to the devil.
That's
And
amazing.
I love this book so much. Like, so I was.
revise it.
I will give it to you.
Actually make that a thing. That's amazing.
Yeah. So it's. But I was listening to music from the playlist for it the other day, and like I was almost in tears because I love that book so much. So it's gonna happen. I'm gonna make it happen. It's just time. Just be patient.
Yeah, I have a problem connecting with like any book for an extended period of time, so I don't have like this one ideal. It's just whatever I'm currently writing.
Commitment flow back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Generally.
Like keep your options open.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess that's it.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Yeah.
And thank you everybody who's been watching at home. We hope you'll be able to join us at Ch1Con next year. Bye. Bye. Stop right
Yeah. Stop it.
Keep waving bye.